Char Margolis, Char Communications Incorporated, and CharVision LLC do not endorse or offer for any purpose but entertainment the views of any guest or other expert on CharVision or UBN.
I knew things before they happened from the time I was a child. At the age of 8, I saw a spirit at the foot of my bed and didn't know what it was. And in my 20s, I finally realized I had a special ability that could help others. I have learned that love never dies. There is a spirit world that can communicate with us, and we all have the gift of intuition. Join me, and together we will explore the possibilities of the unknown from beyond and more. This is CharVision. Hey everybody, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and I have my own little reindeer who got me here on a sleigh, and he's not very happy. We had a song we were going to sing, but we can't because then we'd have to pay for it. So anyway, my whole big joke went away, but I hope you're having a great holiday season, and even though our world is falling apart a bit, it's still good to know that we can find the positive in our lives. And, I know it helps when we pray for those who have been under attack. And I still believe that that Donald Trump needs to watch his back. I feel like somebody may try to... I don't know. He needs to watch his back anyway. Okay, so enough about the Earth plane. I have way better, more important, exciting things to talk about today. I have an amazing man here who is probably one of the foremost authorities in UFOs. I've been excited all week to talk about UFOs. I mean, because I believe in them. Do you? If you do, tweet us and tell us if you believe in UFOs. But his name is Preston Dennett. He's written hundreds of articles in a bunch of different languages. And he's been on UFO Hunters and Coast to Coast with Art Bell. He's a famous man, isn't he, Art Bell?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And you're a famous man. And I'm grateful that you're here with me today, and I don't even know where to start. But how did you start getting involved or being interested in UFOs?
Right. Well, it wasn't voluntary. I was kind of dragged into it, kicking and screaming.
You were?
Yeah, didn't believe in UFOs growing up. Our whole family was pretty skeptical of all things paranormal, really. But I heard this report on the news about these newscasters talking about this sighting over Alaska. This was back in 1986. Mm-hmm. Didn't believe it for a second. Thought, oh, this pilot, he's lying. He's on drugs. He's crazy. I just couldn't believe it. The newscasters were all very tongue-in-cheek. They laughed nervously a little bit about it. But I made the mistake of asking my friends, my family, my coworkers what they thought of this stupid pilot.
Right.
And I got a huge shock. I was hit by a ton of bricks, literally, when I found out that these people that I trusted implicitly and have known for years and years and years were keeping secrets from me. They had, I would say about a quarter of the people I knew had really dramatic encounters.
Like what? Give me an example.
My brother and his two friends, they saw a UFO and actually chased it across the San Fernando Valley in their car.
Whoa, what did it look like?
They described it as kind of being, oddly shaped. Not your typical...
Not a round saucer?
No. It had a strange dome on top. It had colored lights. And they were thinking, is this a helicopter? But
and this was before drones.
Oh, yeah. Well before drones. This was back in the 1970s, late 1970s, early 80s.
Right.
Quite some time ago.
There were a lot of sightings then, weren't there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there definitely was a lot of sightings.
Is that when Betty and what's his name?
Betty and Barney Hill. That was
Hill?
back in 1960, actually.
Oh.
But that was just one sighting. My sister-in-law, she had a sighting with her two friends over Van Nuys Air Force Reserve Base.
Really?
And later had a face-to-face encounter with a gray-type ET. She didn't tell anyone.
Aren't they called gray nose?
Grays.
Or grays.
Is generally what they are called.
Where was she?
She was outside her home, actually, in Van Nuys, walking around late at night, and was walking past Stagg Street Elementary School and saw these two figures. And she thought, oh, they're children, but they look strange. They look like they're wearing masks. This is very strange. They look bald. They have these very large eyes. They're wearing green jumpsuits. She thought, this is really strange, because it wasn't around Halloween. There was no reason for these kids to be out that late.
Did it scare her?
Not until they turned and looked at her. She says they kind of swiveled and turned and looked at her, and she got a real shock. She said it was like being woken up when you're already awake, and that's when she got a little nervous. Yeah, she didn't want to run and panic.
Did they talk to her telepathically or anything like that?
She was like 10 feet away, maybe 20, and they looked straight at her. They locked gazes for a second there. She had her dog with her. Her dog didn't react at all.
Wow.
And she was just floored and kept walking as fast as she could without running and panicking. And she didn't really know what she had seen. This was before the subject really got popular in the media. So she really had no idea how to interpret this. But as she's describing what she saw, by that time I had picked up a few books. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was able to predict what she was going to say. So yeah, I had people at my work as well. People that I'd worked for about 5 or 10 years at least.
In California?
Yes, had also seen UFOs, because I mentioned the sighting, and the lady who right next to me, the desk right next to me, says, oh yeah, me and my whole family watched this star-like object darting around. And
was anyone abducted and taken to a ship?
Yes, I found that out. Well, Dorothy, she walks in, another lady I worked with, and she's like, oh, I saw a UFO. I'm like, really? What did you see? She says, yeah, we were actually driving home from the library when this object came over our car and followed us home. And she says, it's really strange because it only takes us 5 minutes to get home, and somehow it took us over an hour.
Oh.
And I'm like, really? And she says, I don't know how this could happen, but we lost time somehow. And now that's a red flag among UFO investigators. When someone has missing time, this is often, not necessarily always, but often an indication of a much more extensive encounter.
And is it true that they communicate telepathically?
Yes. In fact, that's pretty much the rule, particularly with onboard experiences. But, sometimes with sightings as well. People have a close-up sighting and they'll get a message, don't be afraid, we won't hurt you. That's very common.
But aren't there good and bad energies, just like spirits? There's good and bad spirits. There's good and bad people on the earth. Aren't there good and bad,
Yeah. ET behavior falls under the same umbrella as human behavior.
Right.
There's a bell curve, I would say, where there's a few cases which are pretty nasty. And there's some actually really benevolent cases.
Tell me a nasty one. Nasty one. I want to hear.
Well, I haven't run into a whole lot of them, to be honest.
Well, tell me one good story.
Some of them can get pretty scary.
Like what?
One guy, he was driving along the I-5 freeway, the Interstate 5, through the Central Valley in California. And he was a believer in UFOs. Mm-hmm. And his friend wasn't. He was driving, and they saw what they thought was a helicopter. Mm-hmm. But it had colored lights, and there was this weird fog all around it. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of just hovering there up ahead on the road. And as they got closer and closer, they thought, this looks like a UFO. And as they came right up to it, it kind of moved off to the side and started to land. And he said, suddenly it wasn't fun anymore. He'd always wanted to see a UFO, but this thing sent out a beam of light, and he had the distinct feeling it was going to hit their car. And it kind of played across the field.
Like a laser?
It was a beam, kind of a beam of light.
A beam.
Right. And it kind of played across the field and hit their car, and that's when they blacked out. He said the terror that he felt was unlike anything.
They blacked out?
Yeah, they lost consciousness.
And how much time did they lose?
We're not exactly sure. An hour, maybe a little bit more.
Did they have any marks on their body they didn't have before then, or where in the belly button?
A scar on his leg.
On his leg?
Yeah, that's pretty
Where
common.
On his leg?
Below his knee.
Below his knee. Has anyone ever had that experience? Anybody at home listening to this? Any CharVision listeners? Have you ever had this? If you've had it, tweet us. We want to hear about it. We want to Facebook us. We want to hear about it.
Yeah, that's one of the things I actually look for when someone says, oh, I've had missing time or a very close encounter. I ask them, have you any unusual scars?
Did it burn? Was it red? Was it...
No.
Could he walk?
Mm-hmm. They heal very quickly, these scars.
Oh.
Another lady, this was right when I started investigating, the daughter of the lady I worked with, said that she woke up one evening and there were these figures around her bed. And mind you, this whole family had been having a lot of sightings, some of them very close. And apparently she was the one who was targeted. And she woke up to see these figures. She says it was terrifying. She couldn't describe them because she didn't want to look at them. But she said that they were short, very large eyes.
And big heads?
Big heads, grayish skin. And they said, don't be afraid. We won't hurt you. We need to cut your arm here. And she says, no, you can't do this. And they did it. And they said, we're going to take you away. She says, no, you can't do that. I've got a job. I have a family. I have a boyfriend. You cannot do this. And next thing she remembers, she's in this small round room. Mind you, this is not with hypnosis. She remembers all of this consciously, which is actually pretty rare. Because a lot of people, they don't remember it, or they remember just snippets. But she remembered it all.
So what do you think really happened in Roswell, New Mexico in the 40s and 50s? And do you feel that our government is hiding a lot of information about UFOs?
I do, and I think it's demonstrable. I
agree with you. I think they're hiding it too.
It's very easy to prove through the documents released through the Freedom of Information Act. And Roswell, I get so angry when I think about it, because this is the granddaddy of all UFO cases, probably the best in the world.
Refresh our memory about Roswell.
Yeah, Roswell is a town in New Mexico, and back in 1947 there was this huge superwave of UFOs, which is across the United States and the world. Kind of coincided almost exactly with the atomic age, which may be what attracted these UFOs in large numbers. But at any rate, Roswell, this is where there was a lot of nuclear testing going on, and there was a UFO crash. In fact, more than one. People talk about UFO crashes and think, oh, it's pretty rare. Roswell's the most famous one, but there's got to be at least 100 now on record. So Roswell's the best case. There's 200, 300, 400 witnesses. We know everything about that case. Even though there's a cover, we know. We saw it coming down. We've talked to the radar operators. We've talked to people who've seen the thing actually crash, the people who picked up the wreckage, the people who guarded the wreckage, the people who transported the wreckage, people who flew it to Wright-Patterson. I mean, so almost everyone involved in that case has been interviewed. And, yes, it's covered up. But I think one day we're going to see that Roswell craft in a museum. This case is not going to go away.
I just heard, and I can't remember if I saw it on TV or what, that President Nixon showed somebody a UFO.
Jackie Gleason, right.
And away we go! Yeah, Jackie Gleason.
Right.
I saw it on TV.
It's remarkable. There's a lot of really high-level figures who are believers in UFOs and have seen them. I mean, we have presidents, governors, senators.
So President Nixon took Jackie Gleason to see a UFO. He talked about it.
Right.
It was a person, right? A being.
He went to actually see alien bodies that were being held in an Air Force base in Florida.
That's amazing.
And the case was kind of just hearsay in the beginning, but Jackie Gleason's ex-wife was the one who revealed it. And so he never talked about it personally. But there's been a number of researchers who've done an extraordinary investigations into confirming this story.
And why do you think it's taken so long for people to acknowledge this?
Right. Well, there's a good reason for it. I think the main reason, one reason is it's a pretty heavy-duty subject. It has a tendency to sort of hit home and really causes you to shift your whole worldview.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have difficulty, confronting something that's going to make them completely change their belief system. God knows that happened to me. I had to throw everything out the window and start over.
It's true.
But
it's like believing in ghosts or spirits.
Exactly. It's traumatic.
If the Bible doesn't say it,
Right. Well, the main reason I think people...
It doesn't say, I am the Lord thy God, thou shalt have no other UFOs around you, or something like that. It doesn't even talk about it, or does it?
Well, there's quite a bit of evidence.
I haven't read the Bible, so sorry.
Some angelic visitations, some could be interpreted as UFOs.
They could.
There are some similarities to them, which makes you wonder if some of these things where people say they've seen angels might have been something else.
It might have been a UFO, and it might have been a alien and not an alien angel
Right.
or whatever.
But going back to why people are so slow to,
why?
grasp this subject, why hasn't it gone mainstream?
Yeah, why hasn't it?
There is a cover-up, and it's a vicious cover-up. These guys are ruthless. The people who have their hands on this UFO hardware. And make no mistake about it, we have the alien bodies, we have the craft. Our government is neck deep in UFOs, especially at the very high levels.
But how do they keep the people quiet who work for the government?
Various ways.
Besides Richard Nixon and Jackie
They threaten
Gleason.
them. Pilots aren't allowed to report a UFO sighting. They'll lose their pension and can be fined. There's an active cover-up. And if you have hold of actual physical evidence, well, they'll go as far as to threaten you, as they did with the Roswell witnesses, or in worst cases, actually rub you out.
I always thought that as terrorism gets worse, and unfortunately I feel that terrorism will get worse, I think most people do now, I'm wondering if they will start bringing this into our consciousness, the truth about it, to distract us from being afraid of terrorists.
I don't know. I think there is a kind of a controlled plan of disclosure. We're seeing that more and more. There's a lot of whistleblowers, government insiders coming out, very high-level officials and scientists and military officers who are confirming the cover-up, saying that they have worked directly, with UFO hardware or with ETs themselves.
I mean, everybody has a cell phone, and everybody's cell phone has a camera.
Right. There are an enormous amount of pictures out
Are there?
Oh, yeah.
Do we have any of those pictures?
The problem with
John,
photos...
can you pull up some of those pictures for us?
Photos are really easy to fake right now, and some of the best, UFO photos used to be really good evidence. Right now, it's not as good as it used to be, not unless you have an eyewitness testimony, preferably multiple eyewitness testimony to back it up. But yeah, so many people have caught UFOs on their cell phones. There's a really good case took place a couple of years ago, 5 or 10, over Chicago Airport, O'Hare Airport. And a number of people were actually able to capture this saucer-shaped object on their cell phones. It was seen by airport control towers. It was seen by people on the ground. It was seen by maintenance people. It was seen by pilots and passengers. This object actually hovered over the airport for several minutes and then went straight up and punched a hole through the clouds. It's a huge case.
So they go directly in one direction, don't they? They don't like...
Well, Ufo Movement, this is something I actually look for
when
I'm
that movement?
Interviewing someone. Because most conventional objects move in a straight line. When they turn, they do a kind of a wide sweeping turn. Helicopters, even when they're hovering in place, have a tendency to waver. These UFOs can stay stock still in the sky, like a rock. This is something I look for.
That's amazing.
Or they'll dart.
Like a hummingbird.
Right. Totally silent. They can turn at right angles. They can come in and out of the water and do all kinds of amazing things that we can't
What about did you find any yet, John?
Yeah, I put a couple up.
Oh, did you? I didn't see them.
I'll show you.
Okay. Okay, so you guys at home, you're seeing the pictures of the UFOs. Oh, look at those. Is this on his website?
No.
Those are okay, so I'm sorry, I got distracted. What about the UFO, the saucers that go into the mountain, inside?
Right. Yeah, there's a number of cases like that. When I first heard about that, I'm like, what is going on here? But they apparently have a technology that allows them to actually go through solid matter. So they're pulling people out of their homes, through walls, through the roofs. They are going into the ground. They're going underwater. I am speculating here, but I think they have some sort of force field which allows them to do this.
Do you think that there's some kind of rule that they're not allowed to mess with our planet in some way?
Kind of like a non-interference,
Yeah.
like on Star Trek. Well,
Yeah.
actually, yeah, there is some evidence to speak towards that, in that many abductees or contactees, people who are taken on board, have been told exactly that.
That they're not allowed to mess. It's like you're not allowed to mess with God's plan. You're not
Right.
allowed to mess with...
They can help, but not too much, because we have to solve our own problems.
Because life is our school, and we're here to learn lessons. That's true. That's why we're all here.
I mean, if ETs were to hand us all the technology to, say, heal people,
Okay.
what would we do with it? We'd probably abuse it.
So I was really excited that you're coming, that you're here today, and I appreciate you being here. But I wasn't sure if I was going to talk about this. However, I had an experience on Mount Shasta.
Ah, huge hot spot.
It is a hot spot, isn't it?
Oh yeah, a lot of encounters there. I had a sighting up there with my brother and my sister-in-law.
I didn't literally see, well, I saw almost like spirit images. Like,
Right.
do you know about the lost Lemurians
I sure
that
do.
live in the land under the land?
Oh,
They're
yeah.
like 7 feet tall.
I do.
Do they live at Mount Shasta?
Well, there's certainly a lot of evidence
To say that they
support
do,
that.
right?
You know, it's not just one or two witnesses. We've got dozens of people who claim to have had encounters of that kind.
Okay,
And
well-
it stretches back to 1930s even.
I was dating someone, I was dating a few somebodies, but one person I was dating. And I went to Mount Shasta.
Right.
Because we heard that there were the lost Lemurians there, and we were going to find them. And this was before cell phones, and must have been in the 80s. Must have been in the 80s. Yeah, early 80s, mid 80s. And we were on the side there. They were going to make Shasta into a ski mountain at one time, and that's why there's a road on the side of Mount Shasta. Do you know
Alright.
about that?
Not in particular, no.
Okay, so there's this road that they built so you can drive up the mountain, so you can drive around the side of the mountain. And we got out of the car, we went to this place, we sat for hours, didn't see really anything. I thought I saw images of like spirits, but I see spirits all the time, so I wasn't so sure. So we got back into the car, and the car, it was evening, it was night. The car, we had parked into the mountain. The nose of the car, a rented car, was into the mountain. The car started jumping up in the air and then bouncing like this, and then up in the air and bouncing like this, and I'm screaming and I'm grabbing onto him. And I said, put the emergency brake on, put the emergency brake on. And this car's going like this, like a trampoline, but harder because it was on tires and they weren't as flexible as a trampoline.
You feel like it was actually lifting
We were lifted.
off the ground?
We were lifted up in the air and down and up and down. I have never been so scared in my whole life. When I went to open the door to walk out of the car, it was a cliff. They had it right at the edge of the mountain. They didn't want us there.
Wow.
Now, I didn't know if they didn't want him there, or they didn't want me there, or they didn't want both of us there.
Yeah, I'm familiar with these types of cases. That's called a car lift case. And they're pretty rare, but they occur all across the United States and the world.
They do?
Oh, yeah. Got a case right here in Topanga Canyon where a couple was driving through the canyon, and they became nervous because they saw this object and thought it was following them. And it was. It came right down over the car and lifted it up off the ground.
But I didn't see, I didn't look above me.
They can cloak themselves as well.
I didn't look above me. I just know, I've never been so frightened in my life. Well, maybe
Right.
when I started to see spirits and I was sat in a dark room looking for ghosts when I was younger, that scared me too. Because I always saw ghosts and I was afraid of them because I didn't know what they were before I really learned about everything that I do now. But I've told a few friends because it's fascinating to me. But I've never met anyone else who had that experience. And why do you think? See, we were going to go back the next night. We didn't go back.
No.
No, are you kidding?
No,
I think they were giving us a message. When I opened the door and saw the cliff, I would have, if I put my foot out and stepped out, I would have been, down the mountain, off a cliff.
It's wild. Yeah.
It really, truly happened.
Oh, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it for a second. I've heard of many car lift cases. They're pretty unusual, but I think that
But
when they do that, they're
Why do they do that?
for various reasons. I think sometimes they're just trying to get a rise out of people. They're trying to scare
It worked.
them. They're trying to announce their presence. And that's one really
But do you
in-your-face
think-
way of
but-
doing it.
But I was interested in meeting these beings and talking to them and learning from them. But, you know, maybe that sounds stupid. Maybe that does sound stupid to everybody at home, but I'm like, wow, here's a type of being that I can learn from, because I'm a constant student.
Yeah.
I want to learn about everybody and everything.
Well, it could have been that someone else that you were with, was...
He
They didn't-
wasn't a good energy.
Yeah, that
And he
might have
ended
been
up being even a worse energy. Like, I don't want to say what, but very prejudiced. He ended up being a very prejudiced, not good
because
person.
I've gone out looking for UFOs and they don't show up because there's a person in the group who's not conducive
well,
to
I've
it.
always thought I'm supposed to go back.
Yeah, well, I would definitely. I love Mount Shasta. I've had a really interesting sighting there where we interacted with this object using a flashlight, of all things. Yeah, it's a great place to
I
make
can
contact.
just see all my fans going out there with their autograph books and waiting for me, especially the ones from the Netherlands. Okay, so
Yeah, it's a great place to go if you want to see UFOs. There are a number of hot spots throughout the world, and that's one of California's major hot spots.
is Mount Shasta.
Yeah, that whole area. Though down here we've got some hot spots too.
Where? It's
The
so- where?
whole Santa Monica Mountain Range, Topanga Canyon, Santa Monica, Malibu, that whole area is super hot. And in fact, recently I've been doing a lot of research into underwater UFOs, USOs, unidentified submersible objects.
Oh.
And it turns out that our coastline right here off the coast of Southern California is one of the most active USO areas in the entire planet.
Oh,
So
I
I've-
wonder what's going on.
Me too. I'm pretty much come to the conclusion that there's some kind of base. And I know how that sounds.
No, like a base in our waters.
Right, exactly.
And it's like too deep for anyone to go into, right?
Exactly. And I've talked
So-
to a lot of people. I mean, even a submarine navigator contacted me, heard about my research. He says, oh yeah, there's a huge trench down there, very deep, which leads up all the way to the Monterey Trench, which is actually really deep. And plenty of places for UFOs to hide.
Do you think the Bermuda Triangle has that as well?
It might. I've talked to several people who've had encounters there in the Bermuda Triangle, but some of that stuff is even more strange. There might be some sort of interdimensional thing going on there. I
Like
don't
another
know.
know.
A rip in time, space. Or,
Like in the, what's it called? In the, I don't know what it's called.
I don't know, but I know people
Like a time machine?
people have had weird time slips. Getting too
Like
far
Doctor
ahead.
Who?
Yeah. It's very. I haven't done a whole lot of research into the Bermuda Triangle because that's a big project. That's a whole another thing to look into. And I've definitely talked to some people who've had some very strange experiences there, though. I'm not quite sure what to make of it. But something's going on there.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a major base in California. Well,
I think.
I had another boyfriend. I sound like a big hoe, right? I put the hoe in Hollywood, kids. Okay, so who was at my house in Michigan, and I'm in the middle of 10 acres, and I have a corral, and I had horses at one time, and I feed the deer. Oops, I'm not supposed to tell people, but I feed the deer. Yeah, well. Poor Sonny, I'm not going to make him wear those antlers. Okay, so I went grocery shopping, and he was a comedian, and he was a really funny man and a nice man. He was like 20 years older than I was. I was in my 30s. And when I came back, he said that he saw a UFO land in my corral. I said, you did not. I didn't believe him.
Yeah.
He said, no, I really, truly did. I said, were you drinking? And he said, no, I really saw a UFO land in your corral.
Wow.
And I went, why didn't I see it? because I would have been scared. I would have been the biggest baby in the world. I would have been
Really?
scared to death. Oh my God, I would have been.
Hey, if a UFO lands, I'm running towards it.
You are?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm not afraid of them. I've been researching the subject far too long. I've never really been afraid of them, actually, or of anything paranormal. I mean, if I see a ghost, I'm running towards it. I love this stuff. I think it's fascinating, and I don't think they're dangerous.
Well, I don't know that I would run now, because this was, 30 years ago, 20 some years ago. So maybe I don't think I would run now. But I'm not saying I'd be the bravest person in the world.
Well,
I would call on my angels to help me.
You don't want to get too close, because there are a number of cases where people have regretted that. They come down with what kind of...
A disease?
Well, radiation sickness, that type of thing, or eye problems with a...
Is that why their eyes are so big? They have, thyroid problems?
No, well, they appear to have genetic damage. This is what some people have been told.
Well, is it because their planet got ruined,
Yes.
and maybe because we're starting to ruin our planet?
That's a theme that comes up. There's several things that people are told when they're taken on board a UFO. First, the most common experience is being physically examined.
Right.
And certainly I've heard that 1,000 times. But often people are told, they're given various messages.
Was anyone... Oh, go on. What? Go
about
on.
environmentalism or alternative healing or nuclear proliferation.
Well, I think the medicine of the future is electromagnetic medicine. I've always thought that.
I actually wrote a book, UFO Healings.
You did? I
'Cause
would like to read that book.
I'll have to get you a copy.
I would love to read that book. And then, okay, so do you think anyone was ever inseminated? Like a UFO inseminated a human?
Yes, and gosh, I know how that sounds, but yes.
Why? I'm asking you the question because that's where my head goes. Is that like what Bigfoot is, or?
Well, there is a weird UFO Bigfoot connection.
My producer Elisa is like, she doesn't know what to do with me right now. Okay, go on.
Yeah, Bigfoot was another subject that I was very resistant to, and finally had to start investigating because I started getting reports. And
Right.
I wanted to be objective about it, and there is a slight UFO connection with Bigfoot.
There
Not
is.
very strong.
Okay, well,
but,
okay, do we, as of now, is there anyone you know who's an alien? Like who's half human, half alien on our Earth?
well, there's different ways to answer that question. The fact is that there are cases where people have, been taken on board a UFO or had face-to-face contact, and the ETs look just like us. Absolutely human. They're called Nordics or humanoids. And this raises serious questions about human origins and who are we really? What is our connection to these guys if they're interbreeding with us?
Can
So
there
we are
be like
all aliens.
So there can be a Muslim alien or a Jewish alien or
yeah. Aliens speak Spanish, they speak
or
French.
a Buddhist alien.
Absolutely. They land all over the world. There isn't a place on this planet where they haven't visited. It's very easy to get...
But they're communicating through thought, right?
For the most part, yeah.
When I do my work, I communicate with spirits through thought.
Yes, telepathy is the universal language, and in fact, humans are very telepathic. And if we would just relax and meditate a little bit...
Well, I have, on my show, I do School for Psychics, and I teach people to listen to their intuition. And I actually do workshops, and I'm doing a retreat in Palm Springs, a couple retreats, and I do online. I do go-to meetings where people, if they go to char.net, they can learn to be intuitive and learn to use your psychic abilities. I mean, it's really important.
I think ETs are very attractive to people who are developing that or interested in it or have
Right.
some capacity to communicate that way, because when I interview people, I would ask them, have you had any other unusual experiences? And a lot of them have had out-of-body experiences, precognitive dreams, a near-death experience, ghosts, all these kinds of things.
Have you been on astral flights personally?
Yes, I got really good at it, actually.
You're good. Can you just make yourself go do that if you want to do it in your dream?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You can
Well,
just go on a flight.
Not completely at will. It takes,
I did when I was younger. I don't know.
I do it pretty regularly. I've written a book about that as well. I'm going to write another. And
Show off. How can we get your books? Well, how do we get a hold of you?
Actually, I have a website, which is my name. If you just Google my name, it'll take you right to it.
Do you have that up there, John? John has it on the bottom of your screen. You can get a hold of Preston.
I would love to talk to people if they have questions or,
and maybe there's enough
experiences.
stories that you can write another book.
Oh, yeah. I've got so many books I want to write.
That's amazing.
This subject is, I take it very seriously. I know some people are like, this is funny. It doesn't affect me. UFOs aren't important to me. They are. I've got news for you. UFOs are affecting everybody profoundly, even if you don't believe in them or not. If this UFO technology was released by who's ever covering it up, we could solve the energy crisis, the economic crisis, and the environmental crisis.
Well, the environment
overnight.
We could.
And this
in a
has to be
heartbeat.
done.
But why are we ruining our planet? We're ruining our planet. Why?
This is exactly what the ETs are telling people. What are you doing?
And I believe that.
Oh,
in fact, when I was 18 or 19 years old, I said, I don't want children because I don't want to bring a child into this world. Not that I don't love kids and not that I don't think you should have a child if you have a calling to have a child. But I always knew my child was this work. But
it's the #1 message from the ETs. Like, why are you ruining your planet? Why
we're
the
destroying
pollution,
it.
this overpopulation, the nuclear proliferation?
And the oceans.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think this is
and
one
animals are becoming extinct.
Yeah, it's tragic. We're at a tipping point, I think, with the whole UFO ET relations.
I remember, I don't know if it was in the 60s or 70s. I don't know. Lisa, maybe you remember this. There was a commercial on TV, and the little boy goes, "Mommy, what's that?" And she goes, "Oh, honey, that's a flower." "What's a flower?" "Honey, what's that?" "Oh, that's a blue sky." "What's a blue sky?"
Oh.
It was. I got goosebumps when I'm telling you this because we are on our way to, and our children and our children's children deserve to have a place of safety to live in. I don't know.
There's been a lot of
scary
messages from the ETs saying if you don't change things soon, there's going to be massive population reduction.
And there will be, and I believe that.
Yeah, we're in for it. This is something that comes. Probably one of the most popular themes is that our world is going to be very, very different in 10, 20, 30 years, especially if we don't start taking some serious action to loving each other, first of all, and loving our planet.
Right. Well, there's nothing more powerful in the world than love.
The greatest force in the universe.
It is. It is. And the opposite of love is fear. And I feel like maybe we need to start doing some group meditations, some group healing, some like massive group healings. Maybe we can start something like that. Elisa, let's talk about this. She's doing this. Because somebody's got to try to help stop the destruction of our planet.
Yeah, it's crucial. If we don't do it now, it's going to be too late.
Maybe we need to gather some of the brightest and wisest of people together to try to do something about this. We need famous people. Famous people have some power.
They do. They have the ability to influence people. And I know that there are famous abductees and contactees out there. I've actually, dealt with some cases involving some very famous people who will not go public. A famous sitcom star, you would definitely know her name. A famous film actress, absolutely you would know her name.
Well, Robin Williams was almost too good at being Nanu, Mork and Mindy.
And he lived in Topanga Canyon, actually, for some years.
Yeah. So, wait, so there was a really famous sitcom star.
Oh, yeah. She will not come forward.
Did she have an S or C initial?
Let me see.
You can't say.
I don't want to.
No, you can't. You can't. No. I would never. It's like I have very famous clients that no one will ever know who they are because you have to protect them.
Yeah, some people have come forward who are famous, but not a lot. Not to the level that.
Did Shirley MacLaine see any? I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, she said she's seen some UFOs. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And her book Out on a Limb and the movie. Definitely helped popularize the subject.
Right. And see, I know that people watching this, like maybe somebody in your family believes in this and somebody doesn't. And so the person who doesn't believe thinks you're crazy and you're nuts. But you thought people were crazy and nuts. I thought people were crazy and nuts. I thought my old boyfriend was crazy when he said a UFO landed in my corral. But after that experience in Mount Shasta, I'm positive there's some kind of alien force out there. Okay, well...
I understand skeptics. I was one, but honest to God, if you don't believe in UFOs, you haven't done your homework.
Yeah,
the
I
amount
agree.
of evidence out there is mountainous.
Well, it's also, do you believe in your guardian angels? And Preston, I'm so grateful that you came here to visit me today. I hope you'll come back another day.
Oh, would love to.
And I want everybody to read your books and go to your website, and the website's on the bottom there. And okay, everybody. Well, it's another CharVision. But wait a minute. Don't go away. Wait, are we doing a reading?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Don't go away. You've got to see this reading. I know which reading it is. Okay, thank you. Okay, Michelle, have you ever had a reading before?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Years ago.
Okay, then
Yeah.
just be open about everybody, living and deceased, and we'll see what we can do. I feel like you're an artist, or you're an art person. Are you an artist?
I am an art person, yeah.
You're an art person. So
I'm an artist, yeah.
You're do you do art or makeup art?
Photographer, and I paint.
And you paint, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, hence the overalls.
Yes, although some people just think it's the outfit.
No,
so
I
that's
love
fine.
that outfit. I mean,
Thank
I'd buy those
you.
and wear them.
It's comfy. I love it too. Thanks.
Okay, so you're an artist, and you do photography. Okay. But do you also do something else, like besides photography and art?
Yes.
Okay.
My degree's in journalism.
Journalism. Okay, so you're a writer.
Right.
Okay.
Right,
So, okay, just say yes or no. Okay, so are you doing that now? Are you writing now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
And are you ever like a ghostwriter, or do you ever write for other people, or do you ever write for a periodical or magazine or anything like that?
I have before.
Okay. Hey, did you also do poetry?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You're like a free spirit, creative person. Okay, and it's charming and it's lovely, but I see that. Okay, now poodle. You don't have a poodle terrier, or did you have a terrier poodle?
No, I had a dog though.
Did you have a dog that passed?
Yes.
But it wasn't a poodle terrier. I don't know. Maybe your dog's around here, but I need to figure out. I still don't understand why I'm seeing the wings, the either the dragonfly or the fairy. Are you doing anything with kids writing, or?
I am. I'm working with kids.
Are you working with kids and butterflies, or kids and fairies, or kids and wings?
Not with, I mean.
What are you doing with kids?
I'm working with kids. I conduct workshops, and I work with a nonprofit next to the gallery that I own. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's something about kids. Are you doing fundraising for the kids?
This weekend, yeah. Rock on.
There's something about, I don't know what this means, but there's a symbol of a dragonfly or butterfly. I don't know. Maybe it's, I don't know what it means, but it's a positive symbol for you with doing the work you're doing.
Well, this weekend, the band that's playing, their logo has
butterflies or like dragonflies?
Some dragonfly, yeah.
That's it. The logo's a dragonfly, and it's a band that you're working with?
Well, we're doing a fundraiser this weekend, and so they're performing. And I just thought of that. Their logo I put on my Facebook, and it has like something
That's
like
it.
That.
That's what I'm getting.
Okay.
That's what I'm
That
seeing.
would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot of positive healing coming from what you're doing. This is a really great thing for you. Okay, that's why I'm seeing that. I'm also seeing like it sounds like an H, but it might be a J, like a John or Juan, or Jose or Joseph?
That's
or
my dad.
Joseph or Jose? Or
Jose,
Juan?
yeah.
Jose.
Mm-hmm.
Jose.
That's my dad. He's so nosy. He always comes through. No, he's around still, but he doesn't. He's not quiet though. So he's.
Is he living, your dad? Or
Yeah.
he's just
No, he's
still
living.
living.
Well, you know what? It's interesting because my
Are you away from your dad, Jose?
This is tricky, Char,
I feel
because
like
my dad.
is your stepdad Jose as well?
My stepdad is Joe, and
Is
my
Joe.
real dad is Jose. So they're
That's
actually
why
both technically Joe and
That's
Jose.
why I said Joseph.
It's tricky.
That's why I said Joseph and Jose. Okay.
I need a flow chart.
So which one is there the issue with? Your dad or your stepdad, or both of them?
Probably my dad. My dad.
I feel like he doesn't understand
No,
how to
he
connect
doesn't.
with you.
Yeah.
You're like apples and oranges.
I love my dad, but
Of course you do. But, we choose our parents.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we choose our parents to learn life's lessons. And,
I'm learning a lot.
yeah, and he's doing the best he can,
I
but
know.
he's very rigid. And maybe that's why your mom didn't stay with him.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's rigid, and you're like an older soul than he is, and you're a freer soul than he is. He puts himself through a lot of, he's too rigid in his rules and the way he thinks life should be. And was there alcohol or drugs?
No. Well, he always says he'll tell you he's lived really hard. My stepdad, no. My stepdad was
No,
there was
your
none of
dad,
that. My dad, yeah.
Your dad,
He was a
he's
rock
got-
star.
he's got to be a real rock star?
No, he's not. But
Okay.
yeah,
he's
he
gotta
lived that
be-
way. He lived like a rock star.
Okay, because I see that there were drugs or alcohol and
Probably alcohol.
Yeah.
Probably.
yeah, maybe more so stuff you didn't
Yeah.
even know about. But I feel like as he gets older, he's gonna
Oh yeah, no, he's
melt a little more.
Oh, he's melting.
He'll be more flexible for you. And there's an A. There's somebody who's an A or E.
A.
Is that a male?
Yeah.
A-N or A-L? Or it just starts with A?
A-L.
Like Alan or Albert or Alfred?
Well, A-L, Alex.
Alex.
Mm-hmm.
Is that your son, your husband? Who is that?
That's
your
my-
boyfriend?
That's my grandpa, probably.
Oh, Alex. Oh, he's deceased.
Yeah. Mm-hmm, yeah. He is awesome, though.
Okay. I didn't know who that
Yeah.
was. Why do I see a baby?
I don't know.
Did they lose a baby?
Yes.
He's validating himself by saying he lost the baby, that he's got the baby that they lost.
Wow. Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I mean, that they're together. Yeah, no, that happened. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is it a child, a little child, or just a baby? It's a baby.
Mhm.
Okay. Did anyone in your family have a restaurant or a fast food thing, or is there like a family recipe of something?
My dad had a restaurant
Your dad had a
at
restaurant.
some point. Yeah.
That's
For a little
That's Jose.
Mm-hmm. The one who's melting.
But the food was good. The food was okay. But he didn't know how to run it? Is that what happened?
I think he just got bored with it. He has lots of different businesses, and he does fairly well, so he doesn't really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he just.
But he did have a restaurant.
He was like, I'm always exhausted, and so he dropped it. So he's.
Yeah, okay. Because I kind of feel like the food was okay.
Yeah. Well, good. That's
Where's
a good thing.
Is his mom deceased?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel his mom is with you.
Really?
Yeah, did you not like her?
I didn't not like her. I didn't know her very well, so maybe
feel
she's
like-
making up for lost time. Maybe, right?
They will do
she's
that.
hanging out.
But she's around me right now.
Oh, she is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's good.
Did he give you money? He's supposed to give you money.
Um,
Did you ask for money?
he has, yeah, certainly.
He's going to give you money.
Well, good, because you bought all the other kids' houses except me. So let's hope so.
Maybe,
I know,
maybe
right?
what
Who
she's
does that?
maybe what she's saying is
Maybe he'll listen here. He'll
maybe what
hear this.
she's saying is he owes you money.
That would be awesome. I like her already. Yeah, I didn't get to know her that well when she was alive, so.
He owes you some money.
Yeah. Well, you know, they were estranged for a while, my mom and my real dad, so for a while. So we reconnected much later.
But he
so.
owes you money.
I missed the whole like allotting of houses part.
He
so.
owes you money. Somebody has property in another state, in another country. Who is there? Someone or in another state? Is that your dad?
Yeah,
Does
probably.
Does he invest in another country or another state? Does someone have something like in Mexico or in another, or Texas? I don't know.
Texas. I'm from Texas. Yeah.
Texas.
I'm from Texas.
And does he have property in Texas?
He has lots of property in Texas. Yeah.
Yeah. There's the only thing that I would be concerned about is there might be arguments when he does pass over of who gets what. And
That's so funny you would say that.
There needs to be a will that's organized because siblings will not be flexible with you. And they'll be more greedy than you.
Yeah.
So
no, I had that thought actually. Yes.
well, you had that thought because intuitively you're given that message.
Well, because he always says when I go, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, but
please
you need to
stop.
sit down with him and say, Dad, you know what? I love you to pieces. I always want to have
Put it
peace
in
with
writing.
the whole family.
Yeah.
Why don't you just put it in writing? Because it's not.
It just sounds so petty, though. Ugh.
Well, too bad. Everybody's gonna kick the bucket one day. We're all gonna go.
It's gonna happen, I know.
And
but I got that feeling. I hate,
you got that feeling because you're intuitive.
Yeah.
And I'm just confirming that feeling. So if you talk to
But isn't that in bad taste?
talk to Joseph about it.
Okay.
It's in bad taste.
No,
if
but you're
time
right.
goes
It's smart.
on
No, you're
and
right.
he's in the spirit world and looks down and says, "Why are my kids arguing?"
Right, right.
Because
well, I wouldn't. I
you're
would let
not
it
as
go.
you're not greedy.
You know,
Just-
I bring enough of my own stuff. But you're right, though. You're right. And he always says that.
And it
I'm going to
should
leave
be
this
fair,
for you,
and
and
if
I'm
he's
going
saying it, say, "Okay, Dad, put it in writing." Say, "I love you to pieces, but put it in writing." You don't know what can happen tomorrow. We don't know.
I'm going to make sure
Life
he's
changes
watching this. He's listening
quickly.
to this.
Okay.
I am.
Life changes quickly. Okay, thank you for letting me read for
Yes,
you.
thank you.
Yeah.
It was nice to meet you.
It's nice to
It's
meet you
awesome.
too, honey. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody. You probably think I only do individual readings, but sometimes I get a message for everybody. And I wrote a poem that was channeled through me, and I'd like to read it to you. It's called Until We Meet Again by Char Margolis, A Message from Heaven. My work is done. It's time to leave. Know that I am also missing you as you grieve. I completed my karma on the earth, and now it is time for my rebirth. I'm flying with eagles and dancing on stars. Please know that I haven't gone far. The love we have will carry us through until the day I am again with you. What an amazing journey this passing over can be. I am in good company. I know you hurt, but please trust me. Our journey together is for eternity. So until the day our souls reunite, stay peaceful and well, and use your spirit sight. I will bring you signs from up above, a butterfly, a bird, my sign of love. Don't worry about me. I'm in good hands. Stay strong, stay positive, and continue to pray. When it is your natural day to graduate from the earth, look for me in the bright white light. We have completed our purpose, and all will be right. This is handmade. It's signed by me. It's an affordable gift for any occasion. Just go to char.net and click on store. Thank you. Thank you, everybody who has bought the scroll. It's a really special gift, and I'm honored that you would want it for a loved one. And it was channeled through me. I mean, it truly was. And I just read for some people today who have lost their daughter, and they want to give it to someone else who just had a traumatic loss. So thank you. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for watching CharVision. I want to thank Preston for being here today. Thank you, Preston. And and Sunny and Elisa and John and Gina and Tony and Nikki. God bless Nikki. She's like amazing. My little Nikki in Michigan who makes everything happen. I'm grateful for all of you. You guys are my friends. You guys are my family. You're my energetic family. And I probably, well, we have a show this coming Friday night, but it was taped. So this is my opportunity to wish everybody a happy, healthy New Year, a wonderful holiday season, a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, and most of all, just remember, use your intuition to stay safe, because intuition is the greatest gift that you can unwrap for yourself for your holiday gift. Thank you. God bless you. You get kisses to Mommy. Thank you.